right, y'all. We are live on this beautiful Friday afternoon. God bless everybody in Jesus' name. I do pray everybody watching and listening is super blessed. And today we're going to do some no BS Bitcoin analysis after the aftermath of yesterday, guys. We're going to talk about what is going to be happening next. Targets to the upside, targets to the downside. We're going to be talking about this little bit of a bounce that we've been getting since last night, coming down to one of the zones of support that we had prepared for right here at the Fibonacci Golden Pocket Value Area Low. And when we came down to that level last night, it was respected. Start to get a little bit of a bounce right from the level 61,400. We got a pretty nice bounce. Decided to go for the long trade. As you can see, we've gotten a pretty nice move to the upside since that bounce, about from my entry, about 13%, which is nothing to scoff at, baby. Now, of course, we're still in the short trade for Bitcoin. I'm going to talk about my targets to the upside and to the downside. We're currently up right now from the setup given in advance in the Casper crew. We've got right now, yeah, we're chilling, baby. We're chilling in a beautiful schlong trade, all right? We're short and we're long. We've locked in 20 grand on both the short and the long together, all right? What is going to happen next? Guys, make sure to smash up the likes. If we can get 1,000 likes in the first half hour, we will be giving away $1,000, all right? Smash the likes to get $1,000, baby. Smash the likes for $1,000. Smash the likes for $1,000. All right, first of all, let's discuss what has happened with Bitcoin, and then we're going to discuss what is potentially going to happen in the future. Oh man, okay, so let's start with the biggest elefante in the room, which is this. All right, we're going to go to our fixed range volume profile from all the way back from January 2021. So this is our beginning in year 2021 all the way to 2026, our 5-year range. You can see that we have dipped down into a very important area of support, which is the value area high of this macro range. Okay, in addition to that, the exact level that we were bouncing from is this value area low of this previous range right over here. Okay, so the question is right now, is Bitcoin going to be able to hold this level? Because just to come out and say it up front, if we close a weekly candle below this green box, then I am prepared for a move all the way down to the bottom of this giant volume profile. Right? We're most likely, most probable, I'm not saying it's going to happen, but if we close the weekly candle inside of this zone here, the probabilities are highest that we eventually make our way back down to the bottom of this range. Now, we're going to talk about that more later, but let's not forget a few things here. This weekly candle is going to be very important, guys. This weekly candle is so important for Bitcoin right now. We have broken down from the bull market trend line. We did this back in November. And when we broke down from the bear market trend line, we knew that the uptrend was over and we would start going into a downtrend. All right. In November, when we lost that trend line, my target for February was under $70,000. All right. Why? Well, because the probabilities are highest when you break a huge trend line like this, that you're going to make a lower low and take out 73,000. And so obviously 70,000 would be our target below that. So we have now made a lower low. This weekly candle, we have 2 days left. If the weekly candle closes below this 74.3, that is a confirmed bearish trend on the weekly. All right, confirmed bearish trend on the weekly. If the weekly candle closes below 63.8, that is a confirmed close below extremely important support which could lead to further downside. Now, when it comes to buying Bitcoin on spot, I'm going to be honest. I have purchased Bitcoin on spot yesterday for the first time since 2023. The reason is because, like I say, bull markets are for selling, bear markets are for buying, right? It's crazy to me how many people were like, is this a good time to buy Bitcoin? And I said, and I can be 100% honest and stick to my convictions and say, I said, no, this is not a good time to buy. You can do what you want, but I said, I am not touching this thing until we're under 70K. Once we're down in the 50s, then I'll be even more interested. You know, yesterday we dipped down just into the 50s. So far, everything is happening according to plan. Now, this should be exciting for us because, you know, it's so funny because everyone said it's not going to happen the same this time. It's not going to happen the same this time. It's not going to happen the same this time. 500 days after the Bitcoin halving, you know, which happened in April 2024. 500 days after the Bitcoin halving, every time is the top. Every time. And everyone said, nope, 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 nope. This time different. Okay. Maybe. But we were prepared in the Casper crew. We shorted the exact top. Juicy entry. All right. And not only that, but I was very public in saying that I believe we are going into sideways and down for the next 9 months. And you know what? This is not an I told you so moment, but here's what this is. This is the moment where we need to remember to zoom out, to keep our eyes on the macro, and until something happens different than what's been happening in the past, we should assume that it's just going to keep repeating the same patterns over and over. So far, we have been seeing the same exact pattern repeat over and over. Okay? Now, this is now the time, in my opinion, to begin building a spot Bitcoin position for the next bull market. The reason I say it is because when you are in a bull market, every time you make a new all-time high, you don't know if that's going to be the high. So when you buy the dip, right? When people buy the dip in the bull market, yeah, if people bought this dip here, they were in the red, and then it eventually worked out. But when people were buying this dip here, even though I was saying we broke the trend line, you know, we should be really careful, we kept on dipping down, right? Now that we've confirmed bearish market structure, we know we're not buying the top. We know for certain now we are not buying the top, right? When you buy the dip here, when you buy the dip here, when you buy the dip here, you might be buying the top. Now we have changed market structure. We are back down to prices we haven't seen since 2024. We know we're not buying the top. This is now a good time to buy the dip, right? Now, one of two things is going to happen. Either we bottom out here, which I do find improbable, right? Or we continue down a little bit more. Now, from this point on, every time we get a big drop, if we continue to bear flag and drop, by the way, let's just take a look. See, I think we hit the target of our bear flag, by the way, if I'm not mistaken. I think that's in the mid 50s, target of the bear flag. Yeah, look at that. All right, bear flag completed. Wow, crazy. So from now on, guys, if we break down from a range again, like, you know, last time, look what happened last time. Last bear market, we had our first impulse down. We broke down. We had another few weeks of consolidation. We broke down. We had another few weeks of consolidation. We broke down. I'm not saying we're going to continue down like this, but what I am saying is now what we have is every time we get another lower low, you have an opportunity to build a position on Bitcoin so that, let's say you buy a little bit here, right? The trick is you buy a little bit here, you buy a little bit more here, then you go crazy buying down here. And what this does is allows you to get an average position of, let's say a Bitcoin does drop down to 30K. Let's just say, just as an example, now you have an average buy-in position, let's say 40K. All right, now this is your average buy-in price. So if Bitcoin does this, right, and then we go into our next bull run, now you're in from here. And now you can take it up to the next price targets, right? Now, in the bull market, instead of all the people buying in the bull market, you're selling in the bull market because you bought at a low price. And now, the bull market, which is meant for selling and not buying, you can realize those profits, right? The Bitcoin that I bought yesterday is Bitcoin that I sold in the summertime, July, August, when we hit 120. I used that USDT to buy Bitcoin down here at $67,000, right? So that's crazy. I sold Bitcoin at 120. I bought it at 60. I doubled my Bitcoin. Pretty crazy. That's pretty crazy. It's not quite doubled, okay? But you get what I'm saying. Now you have a bigger position at a lower price. We have that opportunity now. It only comes once every 4 years. So let's discuss some. Remember, if we get 1,000 likes in half an hour, we give away $1,000. All right. Don't worry. You had an order at 60 that never got filled. I think we'll come back and fill it, my man. I don't think the low is in yet. I'll be honest with you. Okay. But you know, these are the times, these scary times, and they are scary. I'm not gonna lie, because you are buying an asset that's dumping. But these are times where that money is made. All right. So first of all, let's discuss the importance of where we're at right now. We recognize that this green box is the doorway to much lower prices. Is there a chance that we bounce from here and we go into a bull market because of QE and all this stuff? Yeah, there's a chance. I don't think that's going to happen yet. Just personally, I feel like we have a little bit more time. I feel like we're probably not going to see that low until around here. All right? The summer, the fall of 2026. All right, it's February now, so that's February, March, April, May, June. 5-6 months, about half a year, the bottom will be in, right? Again, we're going to have a lot of chop. We're going to have a lot of sideways. Remember, don't let yesterday fool you into thinking every day is going to get as much volatility as that, right? We look at the bear markets in the past, and we have days like yesterday, which happened over here in May 2022, and then we had a big move to the upside of about 30%. 30% move to the upside. It took 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 weeks. That's a month and a week. It took us to get the 30% upside, and then boom, another big drop, right? And then after the big drop, we got to move to the upside of about 45%. Took us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 weeks, guys. 2 months and 2 weeks of upside, and then boom, another drop, right? So again, the moves are not going to be like yesterday all the time, but I wouldn't be surprised if we have a few more days like yesterday in this overall cycle, right? In this overall cycle. Would not surprise me. Now, we're going to talk about targets to the upside because obviously we're getting a little bit of a bounce here, and this is also, you know, this is a rally. Like, this is a little bit of a short squeeze after yesterday. So we'll talk about levels to the upside. Before we talk about levels to the upside, levels to the downside are this. If we come and make another lower low, $57,000 is going to be very important. That is the macro golden pocket from the swing low of the bear market to the all-time high. $57,000, 618 POC, very, very important level. All right, so that's our next big support is 57,000. After 57,000, we do have a little bit of support at 50K, and then we don't have much until just under 40K. And then we have major support in this green box here. We're going to call it $30,000. All right, so those are our big targets to the downside where I plan to buy on spot. If we come down there, we've already hit my first spot buy of the bear market, right? Okay, so let's talk about what's happening now locally here. So, to the upside, right now, man, I love volatility, all right? Finally, there's something to talk about. Here's the deal. We have broken down from the macro Donald Trump wins the election range. Shout out to everybody who told me we're never going to see Bitcoin lower than the day that Trump won the election again. Because historically, we've never come lower than the president when he won. Okay, cool. Here we are now because so far, the 4-year cycle is king, man. And so far, the pattern that repeats every time is the same. And so far, this time isn't different, man. So far, this time isn't different. Could be different, but so far it's not. All right? So, here we are. Let's talk about to the upside. What resistances do we have? We're coming up right now, I'd say, to a pretty important support resistance flip. We have our daily order block coming in. Let's mark out these key zones, okay? On the daily time frame, we've got ourselves this area right here. That's going to be around 78,000. We have the back test of the low of the range at 74.3. All right, so our first major resistance to the upside is 74,300. The reason for that is because when you have an area of support, like we had right here, 74.4, and we try to hold that level, like we did back here, we tried to hold the level, but then we lost it. Support lost is now flipped into resistance. 74.3 is a very key level for Bitcoin, a very key resistance. Just above that, we have the daily order block at around $78,000. So 74 going to be very key. 78 very key. 78 lines up perfectly with weekly open as well as weekly close from last week. When we go to our 4-hour time frame here, you can also see that if we look at the mini range that we traded here earlier this week, that this just it just lines up perfectly. The volume, everything lines up perfectly. All right. So here's the thing. Right now, on the high term time frames, this is just insanely important resistance, because look at this green box here. As long as we are below the green box, we are still in bearish market structure. And market structure is definitely king, right? What I mean by that is, right now, we have our high, we have our low, we have our lower high, our lower low, we have our lower high, we have our lower low. Unless we're coming above this key area, right? We are still in bearish market structure. We're still making lower highs and lower lows. This would still be a lower high, all right? Not only that, but if we do reclaim this box, then we are actually reclaiming the range. If we take a look at the daily time frame, we see very clearly that this green box of confluence will actually bring us back into the old range. When and if this happens, I say that looks very strong for Bitcoin. We could see more upside, potentially all the way up to $100,000 Bitcoin, coming back up to the high of this local range here into the Fibonacci golden pocket, confluence with our value area low that we have of all this, right? So this would definitely be something to look for, right? Again, we would look for a setup in the event of that happening. In the event of this happening, we would look for something like this, right? This would be a setup that we would look for. We'd look for the reclaim of the level, a little bit of a back test, try and get ourselves into a good entry, and then we could look to hit a nice juicy 5-to-1 reward right there, okay? We also do have a CME gap still unfilled at around 84,500. If we go to the CME futures chart, we go to the half-hour time frame, you see up here 84.5. We have a CME gap that will be filled right at 84.5. Let's go ahead and put 84.5 on this chart and see where that's going to take us. that is going to take us right about here. I'm going to clear everything off except the CME gap right now. And let's just take a look at this chart. The reason why we're looking at these levels to the upside, guys, is so that we are prepared for whatever comes our way. We're going to pull our fib from the high to the low. Okay, so would you look at this? Right now we have our Fibonacci golden pocket. We have the CME gap in the same exact spot. Let's go ahead and look at the fixed range volume profile of the previous range. Let's pull it all the way down. We also have the value area low of the previous range right here, okay? So I'd say the major areas to be aware of right now, 74 to 78 is going to be a major zone where we can either look for a short or look for a long trade if we flip it into resistance, right? We have identified these key levels, which means either we look for the lower high, or if we come up here, we can look for a local entry on a low time frame. And then that local entry can take us up to our next area of resistance where, same, we either look for a rejection to continue the macro, the high, the low, the lower high, the lower low, the lower high, the lower low, or we look for a flip where we get to flip resistance into support and then take it up towards our next area of around $100,000. Right? So we've got these levels marked out. We know where to be looking for trades, right? Bitcoin price is currently, yeah, it's pumping up, guys. It is pumping up right now, okay? Again, this bounce is from the golden pocket, the value area low. Yesterday, we were looking for these next supports. I did long 67, took a loss, all right? But then down here at the golden pocket, we got ourselves a bounce, and it was respected, all right? We got a respected bounce from there. We came up pretty quickly, about a $1,500 pump. I decided this is a very important level right at daily open, all right? Take the trade. We are up right now, 22,000 USD. And, you know, I'm kind of just holding this trade and to see how much we can get here. To try and see how much we can get here. I know I'm coming up to very important resistance at around $74,000 to $78,000. All right, so it's going to be right around here. This whole zone, very important resistance now. All right, let's go ahead and pull our fib from the high to the low. We're coming up to our golden pocket, and our 786 would be right at around 75. All right, so we are coming up to some local resistances we do need to be aware of. All right. And then, again, we have our very important level at around 84,000. Okay. Now, let's discuss a potential scenario that I think is very probable here. Whenever you get a big move, whether it be to the upside or to the downside, notice something about these large moves. Never does an asset go straight up or straight down. Most of the time, the asset is trading sideways. All right, you get a big move like we did here, we trade sideways for a few weeks. A big move, we trade sideways for a few weeks. A big move, we trade sideways for a few weeks. A big move, we trade sideways for a few weeks, right? A big move down, we trade sideways for a few weeks. This is the weekly time frame. Big move up, sideways, right? Big move up, sideways. Very long time. Big move up, sideways. All right, big move up, sideways. All right, another big move up right here, sideways. Get a big move down, guess what? Sideways. Big move up, sideways. All right, big move down, sideways. So guess what's most likely? Big move down. Guess what's most likely? Is it most likely right now to have a V-shaped recovery pumping up to a new all-time high? No. No, it's most likely. Not saying it can't happen. Remember, anything can happen here, guys. All right, the Bitcoin price. She can do anything. What is most probable right now is we form a sideways range. And here's what we have right now. We have our low clearly defined for us. This is the low of our range. 59.8 is the bottom of the range. Where's the top of the sideways range? Well, we don't know yet. Wherever we start to reject from is going to be the top of our sideways range. That might be $75,000, 74 to 75, right? It might be the CME gap at 84,000. It might be, we don't know. However, if we start to form a sideways range, let's say that these highs here are respected as the top of our local range, right? We come up, we come to the top, then we start to come back down into the range, all right? It's very clear that the straight up has ended. Now we have a clearly defined sideways range to look for trades, just like we had a clearly defined sideways range to look for trades back here, right? We had our low from that first low. We had our high. We had our low. We had our high, right? When we came up to the high, guess what? Opportunity, we recognized it as a high. Then it was the opportunity for the short, which we did take, right? Juicy short taken. So, potentially now, I think we have something similar here, all right? So we either have the high being taken up here to come down. Now, when we come down, one of two things, right? Either we can look for a higher low, something like this, or we can look for more of an extended range. We come down, we take a lower low, we come back up towards the top of the range, then we reject, we come down, maybe we make a higher low, $60,000. And if it's a bullish scenario, then after forming some nice consolidation, a nice rounded bottom, well, then we can look for a bullish move, right? But the opposite's also true, right? Let's say that we form this range here, we have our clearly defined highs, we pump up, right? Then we come down, we do take our low, we get a long entry, right? Then we come up, and then we see some bearish signs right here. We could look for another break to the downside. Now, personally, I feel like potentially both of these scenarios are plausible, right? Right now, because we have a sideways range, the two most important areas to be looking for the trade is going to be longs when we come back down to the lows and shorts when we come up to the highs. All right, longs when we come to the lows and shorts when we come to the highs. Those are always going to be the two trades you look for after a big move up or down. You're going to say, where's the sideways range? You're going to tell yourself, I know most of the time the asset is trading sideways. Most of the time. Therefore, probably this time, we're going to trade sideways. You ask yourself, where is the sideways range? You look for longs when you come down to the bottom of that range. You look for the shorts when you come up to the top of that range. And pretty much, you're looking to trade from the lows to the highs, to the lows, to the highs, until eventually it either breaks up or it breaks down. Now, what's cool about this is when you get yourself into longs from the lows and shorts from the highs, you can take a profit numero uno, lock in some profit, and then regardless of what happens now, you're in the trade. So, for example, the short from up here at 97, well, I locked in a profit down here at 80K, right? The short that I took from up here, I sadly closed it early, but again, I locked in profits when we came down to the bottom of the local range right here, right? I hit my take profit one at the bottom of the local range right here, and then let a runner run, because then you're already in a position set to make money no matter what the price does, all right? Now look, if you want to learn more about this, make sure to check out my YouTube channel, because I have a free trading course, 100% free. Check it out. Go to my channel, go to playlists, click Jason Casper free trading course, all right? Check it out, 18 sessions, 100% free, to teach you all this juiciness, more than I could possibly teach you in this stream, all right? So right now, I think it's important to wait and see if a range begins to form here, all right? Key levels to the upside for Bitcoin are definitely, again, if we close the weekly candle above this, man, well, this might be the beginning of much more upside, right? Much more upside. We could see $100,000 Bitcoin if we reclaim 74. Remember, CME gap, very important resistance here. All right. We reclaim both of these levels, which I'm not saying we're going to do, but if we reclaim both of these levels here, the one down here at the 74 backtest, the one up here at the 84 backtest, well, maybe the low isn't. Maybe the low isn't. I doubt it. I'll tell you why I doubt it. Let's go to Market Cipher B. Let's take a look at the weekly time frame. Let's take a look at Market Cipher B on the weekly time frame. We have purple money flow on the weekly. Okay, so when we get purple money flow on the weekly, what does that usually mean? Well, it usually means we have much more downside and sideways before we get the move to the upside. All right, so let's take a look at Bitcoin all-time index here. Let's mark out our purple money flow crosses and what happens after them. Okay, purple money flow cross right here. Actually happened back here. We ended up with our bottom not being in for another, let's check the time here, another 250 days, okay? Purple money flow cross right here. We ended up our bottom not being in for another 70 days, all right? Purple money flow cross happened right here. We ended up with our bottom not being in for another 224 days, all right? 224 days. So we have our purple money flow happening right here. Let's see. A 70-day bottom, that would put us in April. A 200-day bottom would put us right in August. 250 days would put us right in September, exactly when I'm kind of expecting to find that bottom. Now, if we go back here as well, the COVID retest was about 500 days. That's pretty crazy. But yeah, in general, the purple money flow cross means the bottom's not quite in yet. In fact, usually means we have a big old drop ahead of us. Now, is this the big drop already happening? Could be. But I want to point one more thing out here, which is this. Remember how I said so far everything's happening according to schedule? Well, so far, if we take a look at the bull market cycles, every single time, we retrace down into the 786-886 fib. 2011, 2015, 2019, 2022. If the cycle repeats, then by the fall, we should see us dipping down in between the zone of 30 and 40K. Right around here. All right, so this would be the time and the price I would expect the bottom to be in. Could this time be different? Yeah. Could we bounce from here? Bull market? Yeah. Could we come lower than 30K? Yeah. Look, anything is possible, guys. All right. I mean, I don't think this is going to happen, but I don't think, just so you know, I don't think this is going to happen, okay? But, you know, we never came to backtest 13.5K, very important support resistance flip. So therefore, this could be our sideways range. We could lose this. We could come all the way back down to the macro range and then break out. It's possible. I'm not saying it's going to happen. I doubt it would happen, right? But basically the opposite of what happened during the bull market. Now that there is more money in Bitcoin, we have a giant range, right? We have the highs, and then we spend a little bit of time above, and we come back in, right? We have the lows, spend a little time below, and come back in. Not saying it's gonna happen. I'm saying anything can happen, right? But my personal view is that this time is gonna be the same, and that we are looking for major buy targets at all of these areas. 618, 57K, 38K, and then low ball target, 30K. That's what I'm basically looking at right here. Yeah, so that's what's happening with the Bitcoin price. I do think, based on our weekly time frame, we got a little bit more. We have more time before the bull market starts. All right. I think we have a little bit more time before the bull market starts. Could we see a rally here? Absolutely. In fact, I think we probably are going to see a little bit of a rally here. We're going to confirm a nice wave on the daily. I think we could get a little bit of some upside. Is it going to be similar to this that we had all in December and January? Slow, not much movement, and then another drop? you know, I'm kind of feeling like that's likely. But, you know, we got to play it by ear. For me, again, I'd say major areas for me to say, you know what, maybe the bottom actually is in, would be a flip of this. Once we're trading back inside this area, then I'd say, you know, that's a pretty strong looking indication. Our monthly time frame, in my opinion, needs to come down more, right? I think this monthly needs to bottom out. We need to see a momentum wave below. Our 2 week, I think the 2 week needs to bottom out. That money flow needs to hit the 0 line, right? I think our weekly, I think we need to see more of a bottom signal on the weekly. Doesn't mean we can't have a rally now, because we're never going to go straight down. We're going to form that range. But, yeah, personally, I don't think the low's in. I don't think the low is in. I think we're coming lower. I think we're coming lower. All right? I think we're coming lower. Something else to keep in mind, guys, is this. All right? MicroStrategy, right now, their stock is at the gate of massive dumpage. All right? Money flow turning to the purple on the weekly. On MicroStrategy, 2 week. Money flow ticking down on the 2 week. If MicroStrategy loses this green box, it could be a bloodbath down to $63 per share. Remember, MicroStrategy right now, as we speak, is in the red on their Bitcoin investment. Right? MicroStrategy right now, their average buy-in is like 75 grand. Bitcoin is chilling right now at 71 grand. All right? Their buy-in price right now is resistance. If we continue in this downtrend, MicroStrategy could be forced to sell Bitcoin. All right? If that happens, that could be the big event that gives us our actual bottom. If that happens later on this year, remember, the bottom of the last bear market was caused by the FTX exchange going down, which gave us our final drive, that final 30% move to the downside, which was the bottom, right? If we get an event like that this cycle, that will probably be the bottom, right? Every Bitcoin bear market needs some kind of doom and gloom news story where all the boomers say, I hear the owner of Bitcoin went bankrupt or something like that. I hear Bitcoin's owner is a scammer, they said about Sam Bankman-Fried. The CEO of Bitcoin going to jail, I hear. How's that working out for you, Jason? Michael Saylor's the new CEO of Bitcoin, right? And what could go wrong, right? What could go wrong? It's actually, right now, all the puzzle pieces are being put into place for something crazy like that to happen. People were so bullish on MicroStrategy. Oh, it's the business strategy. It can't fail, right? People were so bullish on Bitcoin, bullish on MicroStrategy. Let's see if we get a little bit of a shakeout here, okay? Now, let's check out the order flow on Bitcoin. Let's see what's happened here. All right, this is Market Monkey. Let's see what we got. I'm going to move myself over here. Make sure to like the stream, guys. You know, we were trying to give away $1,000 for 1,000 likes in half an hour. Let's set a timer. See if we can get 1,000 likes in 1,000 likes in 5 minutes. We'll give away $500. All right, $500 giveaway. Okay, so this whole move up, guys, this is a short squeeze. All right, 100%. There is no actual money coming in. Let's check out spot. Can we look at spot open interest? Let's look at spot Bitcoin on Coinbase. Oh, we can't get it. Can't get open interest. I want to see if people are buying on spot here. Let's go to Binance. No? Can't look at... Okay, that's fine. Let's see here. Let's go to YUBIT. Let's look at aggregated. We'll look at all the hang on, I gotta refresh this, guys. I'm very curious to see what we're looking at now is we're looking at what's actually happening. What are people buying? Are people selling? All right. So we're gonna look at all futures. We're gonna look at the CBD, all futures, and spot. All right. So a few things become abundantly clear here, which is this. This move down was fueled by actual money shorting. The way we can tell is because the open interest was getting higher as the price was getting lower. It's telling us new positions are opening. The CBD is telling us that the shorts are opening. In fact, if we look at the net shorts during that move down, these are the net shorts opening up. All right, fueled by new money coming in. Now this move to the upside, guess what? It's fueled by shorts closing out. So it's not actually real money coming in right now so far. And this is to be expected after a big move like that. Shorts are taking profit, rightfully so. And when we take a look at net longs during this spike to the upside, because you might say, well, aren't people buying this? The answer is no. The move to the upside, we're not really seeing longs, right? We're seeing longs close. So what does this mean? The move to the upside is primarily being fueled by seller exhaustion, meaning there's nobody selling anymore. Nobody's selling anymore. Shorts have closed. And then also, longs are closing, right? So it's just this slow kind of trickle to the upside of shorts getting squeezed. Now, if we look at open interest now, it is interesting because we still have quite a few shorts open from this area. All right, this is going to be our $74,000 area. That's another reason right now why 74,000 is so important, because the remaining shorts that we have right now in the market that are open, most of them are from the price of around 74,000. Okay, so that means when we come to 74,000, those shorts need to defend their position to push price down, or we see those shorts start to get stopped out and squeezed. And if that happens, we have the reclaim of 74,000. Then we watch this order book and see, okay, we've stopped out the shorts. Now are we seeing buyers step in? Are we seeing the long open interest increase? All the shorts that were pushing price down are out of the market. Now the bulls have an opportunity to get into the market and push the price to the upside. So this is where we would then pay attention. All right, this is Market Monkey, where you can see exactly what is going on in real time with the orders, right? So very interesting stuff here. I expect probably we do float up toward that area. It just seems most probable to me now. 72 to 74, next very important resistance. All right, we've got our box right here. We've got many shorts, many shorts right here. Let's just draw out where those shorts are. All right. This box, we have shorts that are still open that will need to defend their position. And not only that, we just drag this through, and it's a clear support resistance flip, right? It's pretty clear. It was support once, twice, 3 times. We lost it. So this is where the short money is. We come up, we either wreck them and start pumping, or they defend their position. We look for that short. All right, it's going to be a very key level on the chart. All right, a level to watch for sure, a level to set an alert on for sure. Now let's see what happens over the weekend. We might end up with a gnarly CME gap as well, depending on where we close the candle. Let's say the end of Sunday comes and we close the candle down back in the 60s. We're going to have a pretty intense move to the downside. All right. Okay, let's see. Did we get our 1,000 likes to do our giveaway? Nah, we didn't get our 1,000 likes to do our giveaway. How come people don't like to like? Yo, I don't like to like, baby. I don't like to like. I don't like to like. I don't like to like. Guys, if you want to join the Casper crew, where we identified the level and the strong bounce yesterday at 7:32 p.m., we were at 61.4. I'm like, the level's being respected. Go to jasoncaspertrading.com. It's where we gave the short setup from the all-time high at $125,000. It's where we gave the short in advance from 98K. you go to jasoncaspertrading.com. Also, guys, check out BLOFIN, where you can trade gold, silver, crypto, 0.02% market order fee, 0% limit order fee. Check out KCEX, 0.01% fees. And of course, Antarctic exchange, decentralized exchange, very low fees. If you use the link, those are the platforms I'm currently trading on. All right, check out that stuff if you're interested. Also, if you want to learn how to trade, check out the free course, totally free on YouTube. Totally free on YouTube. Go check it out on YouTube. YouTube.com/Jason Casperoni and cheese, baby. Man, so that is pretty much the nitty gritty with the Bitcoin, guys. That is the nitty gritty of Bitcoin. Shout out to everybody in chat right now. Man, we got some people in chat. We got a super chat. JC, shout out to our Torties, 4752. When you decide to use log or non-log to check your levels, which do you prioritize? I don't really prioritize any. I'm mostly looking for confluences. All right. So right now, this is not log. This is linear. But the chart is on log. We put it to log. Guess what? The macro golden pocket on a log is the same as the 786 on not log. Right? It's pretty much the same. So our zone on not log is right here. Our zone on log is right here. It's right there. And not only that, if we take a look at all the volume, we can see value area low literally right there as well. I'm looking for confluences, okay? Where can you find the most things in one spot? Where can you find the most things in one spot? Right? Hope that answers the question. Targets for ETH, Epstein this, Epstein that. Yeah, I haven't been paying attention at all to the Epstein stuff, guys. Maybe I should be, but I haven't been, all right? Shout out to everyone in the chat. Shout out to Splash, Fire Film. Shout out to Leveling Up My Life. God bless you, bro. BBL says FTX was a cornflake. Can we check quick downside levels like 64, 65? Yeah, I mean, they're obviously pretty key. If we come down to hit the golden pocket, right, that's always a level to keep on your radar. All right, Fibonacci golden pocket from the low to the current high, the 64. Yeah, these are always levels to be aware of, right? Always, always. Shout out to Hammer Trader, Win Lambo. I will never have a Lamborghini car. You know, no disrespect to anybody who likes Lambos, but I'm not about that life, all right? I'm not about the luxury car lifestyle. I'm not into cars at all. Never have been. As long as it drives, that's all I care. As long as it drives and fits all the kids, that's all I care. In my opinion, it's a huge waste of money. That money could be used for something better. Maybe it could be used for feeding the hungry, or housing the homeless, or spreading the gospel, or building infrastructure for orphanages. What a waste. A car that drives, I don't even go anywhere. Guys, I don't go anywhere. I leave my house once a week to go to church only. I don't go to crypto conferences. I don't care about that stuff. I'm no disrespect for people who like that stuff. It's just not my style. What a huge waste. What a huge waste. You know, my 2018 Dodge Ram 1500 is great for me. And then I have a family SUV to shove the kids in. That's all I need. Now, if I ever do get a Lamborghini, it will be a Lamborghini tractor for the farm. All right? You know, what's my dream? I'm living my dream right now. My dream is to have a homestead where I can grow my own food, raise my own animals, live off grid, okay? Right now, I've got that. I've got a homestead, totally off grid, no electric bill, no water bill, no mortgage, no debt. Huge gardens, animals, barns, all that stuff. And then just really, and then just to have enough have enough to eat and support my family and just live life. You know, that's the dream. That is the real dream. Man, the real dream should be a peaceful, quiet life. All right? The more you have, the more stress you have. Honestly, that's totally true. There's nothing wrong with having stuff. Don't get me wrong. But that's the dream, baby. Is all luxury off the table? No, of course not. No, I'm not against luxury. I'm not against nice things. But in my opinion, a lot of people spend money on needless nice things, all right? And everyone has a different standard of what that is. If you love nice cars and you have a passion for cars, by all means, there's nothing wrong with having a Lambo or a Ferrari or a Bugatti or whatever. If it's a sign of success for you and a reminder of how the Lord has blessed you, by all means, go for it, right? I'm not against that. But what I am against is having nice things just to have them, just because you can. If there's no real purpose there, for me, I like guitars. I bought a guitar the other day. I bought a guitar. I'm a guitar player. There's a guitar I saw in a guitar shop. I've always wanted it. I could never find it. I said, you know, I'm gonna get that guitar, right? For me, that was a cool thing, right? But I'm just not the kind of person that wants to have like fancy cars and mansions and nice clothes and all this. That's just not my style, all right? Not my style at all. Yeah, see, Vegas Claw loves to collect Joe Biden action figures. That's what's up. I would love to get a Lambo tractor. They don't show them really. They don't sell them in the United States, unfortunately. Yeah, if you like watches, you know, do it. Do it. You know, if you want to get out to the beach in the winter, do it. All right? Do it. You know? Shout out to Crypto Coons in the chat. Shout out to Leveling Up My Life. Leveling Up My Life also has a YouTube channel and a treadmill. That's what's up, man. So people think Epstein was Satoshi? Is that what I'm seeing here? I'm seeing that people think Epstein was Satoshi. I have not been paying attention to that at all, honestly. I have to look into it. What are my vices? My vices are deadlifting. Deadlifting is a huge vice for me, honestly. Deadlifting's a vice. Deadlifting is a vice because, look, it's too much on the central nervous system, but I love it so much that I'm driven back to the deadlift bar, and then I burn myself out. Shout out to Chris Mars. Don't buy the Lambo tractor. Nothing but issues. That's a shame. I really wanted that Lambo tractor just so I could take a picture of it. Be the crypto trader with a Lambo tractor. Where's the narrative even coming from? That's what I want to know. That's what I want to know. I have to look into it. Can't grow a garden on the beach. That's true. You can't grow a garden on the beach. But there's something really awesome about the beach, guys. All right. Shout out to my man, America First. Imagine posting a Lambo to say you're a good trader. Yeah, I guess it's become like the I made it the I made it symbol in crypto, like the meme that is kind of legit. Like, it's the ultimate like I made it in crypto symbol, right? 4 days of soreness and pain for 1 day of heavy deadlifts. Yeah, it's not even the soreness and pain, it's just like the central nervous system. Like, I deadlift heavy, and honestly, if I actually all out deadlift, I need to take 2 weeks off deadlifting. Yeah. WW3 starts in 2 days. yeah, so that's, you know, there are a lot of geopolitical tensions happening right now, which could lead to somewhat of a black swan event. I'm not saying for certain, but I am saying very possible that could give us another move to the downside here on Bitcoin. This is not a strong move to the upside yet. Not at all. You know, what kind of guitar did I get? I got an LTD EC 1000 Deluxe. Alright. Alright, so here we go. PowerFriend says, Stein donated to the Bitcoin Devs Foundation early and the universities, so they're not doing their own research to know if there was issue in the code. It's open source. Epstein helped fund early Bitcoin developers, but didn't influence how they say it. Okay. You know, I'll be honest. I don't really care what's happening with all this news stuff. If anything, bearish Bitcoin news is good in the long run, okay? MicroStrategy, selling Bitcoin, Epstein creating Bitcoin, whatever. All these stories are good for Bitcoin in the long run. You know, I am not concerned at all. This pump will last about 15 days before another large leg down. Yep, very possible, right? Very possible. That's kind of where I lean right now. You had the EC 1000? Yeah, I know, right? I love that guitar so much, man. I feel like ESP, they took the the ESP, they took the Les Paul and made it nice for metal guys. I love Les Pauls, but all FUD and BS. Yeah, I mean, there's FUD is to be expected in every bear market. I mean, it is what it is, guys. It should be welcome. It should be welcome, right? The more fear and uncertainty and doubt surrounding the asset, well, the better we can buy it at a cheap price, and then the more we can profit in the long run, man. Then the more we can profit in the long run. I don't have the short open from the top, CBK Wahoo. I accidentally closed it. Somehow. I don't know how. Short from the top. Closed. Look at that entry. 126 ... man. That was my initial entry, and then I did add to it a little bit to get my 125 when I, on October 6th, gave the... It's not a signal because I don't give signals, but yeah, I closed it by accident. Sad. But I still have the short open from 98, which obviously I'm not logged in right now. But this short is still open. Yeah. I'm only in 2 Bitcoin trades right now. I'm in the short from 98. I'm in a long from this bounce that we got from 61.4 from last night at 7:32 p.m. What are my thoughts on de-dollarization? Look, I think it's inevitable because the United States dollar is so based upon nothing, and the debt far outweighs our GDP. It's so insane. It's almost like a joke, honestly. The Federal Reserve is pausing and probably going to cut interest rates, which will probably lead to our next bull market starting later this year. But here's the thing. You can only do that for so long. Saudi Arabia is already no longer respecting the petrodollar. You got the BRICS nations with their currency. The world power is shifting east. I don't know what effect that's going to have on the monetary system in America. I don't know. Because my personal view is that it's obviously all by design. And perhaps it is the death of the traditional finance system will give birth to the new digital system, which will all be using digital currency for everything. And all currencies will probably be linked together somehow. So I don't really know exactly how it's going to turn out, but obviously The dollar is, it cannot continue for much longer. It cannot. Shout out to Alexo Crypto. God bless you, my bro. Have a great weekend yourself. Typical length of world reserve currencies is 82 years. US is on year 85 now. Is that true? I need to look into that, but there's never been a fiat currency that hasn't hyperinflated before. You can't take your currency off physical assets, being backed by physical assets, and expect it to work. It's doomed to fail. Right? El Punto Verde on the daily. Let's see. Soon, it looks like. Soon. We'll see how the daily candle closes today. See how the daily closes today. Yeah, we'll see how the daily candle closes today. We shall wait and see. Alright guys, I'm gonna head out, man. I hope everyone has a great weekend. May God bless everyone in Jesus' name. Make sure to like, subscribe, click the bell, and Lord willing, I'll see you guys next week. Peace!